I wish you all the very best of luck with that. It sounds amazing.
Cheers.
And I know that you obviously released a brand new single recently, Six Hesit Heist,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is amazing. I mean, when you sent me the package as well of the whole process and the whole concept, it was sounded amazing. I mean, how was that for you to work on?
Thanks. Yeah. Well, that was interesting actually, and that I would say that piece is very much a came out of the lockdown scenario. In that, so I was working. Trying to think what point it was. It might be when I was working on the viola concerto, or even I might have already been on the series. And there was just a few days when I was just feeling a little bit creatively lost, and I just stumbled across this sketch of that piece that I'd done for a piece I did a year ago, a ballet called Sense of Time for Birmingham Royal Ballet, and it was orchestral but with a really subby deep kick drum, like a kind of, a kind of hip hop beat, and then some synths in it as well. So, and I listened to it and I was like, oh God, yeah, I've completely forgotten about this. I haven't used it. And I just kind of got excited. It kind of woke me up a bit, gave me a kick. I love music with a really good groove or good syncopated rhythm. I think that's the big thing we have in common. And that's what I think what you're doing is so exciting. And I love orchestral music, of course. And that piece was kind of going to go nowhere, and so I just thought, hang on, why don't I just, I'm enjoying this. Why don't I just finish it and release it as a single? Just do something immediate, because we're not doing gigs at the moment. We've lost most of musicians and composers. We've lost that immediate interaction with audiences. So one of the solutions is just to try and release music, just get stuff out there, just finish things, do it fast, just so you've had that sense of communication and that satisfaction of getting stuff out there rather than just this period of silence. So yeah, I just thought, okay, I'm just going to finish this, and did it pretty quickly. And then Non-Classical, the label that I'm part of, I founded, but now I've taken a step back. I'm artistic director, but I'm not in charge of it anymore. And they were really keen to release it. So yeah, it happened quite fast.
But it's fantastic. Obviously, I listened to it when we sent it to me. It's amazing. So really well done. I mean, how difficult was it for you to work on, obviously, during this whole lockdown? Because obviously it is impossible to obviously film orchestras and so forth in this time. I mean, which is something you mentioned, obviously. I mean, how difficult was it to kind of rearrange things and work on to get it out there in time?
Yeah, so what happened with that track is, it was composed for orchestra and electronics. And but I was just felt excited by the track, and I thought I want to get this out now. There's a thing about creating a piece of music and wanting it out immediately. And actually, in the classical world, often you compose a piece, and sometimes it's months until it gets performed, and then it's years until it actually gets recorded and released. Like I've released 2 albums over the last 2 years of my concertos, of my bass drum concerto for turntables, cello concerto, and saxophone concerto, and all of those pieces were a few years old. I would have loved to have released them as soon as I wrote them, but it takes a long time to coordinate orchestral recording, etc. And so with that piece, I thought, no, I want it out now, but no way I'm going to get an orchestra. And because of the sci-fi series I'd done, in that I'd had to use orchestral libraries, so it's not real orchestras, it's just big sample banks of real orchestras when they played every single note in a scale in all different styles and different dynamics. And so I've been working with these orchestral libraries for several months. So I was in a really good zone with them, and I thought I could get them to sound really realistic. So I just said, okay, I'm not going to, sadly, though obviously I'd love to record it with a real orchestra, I'm just going to use the library, and I'm just going to really make sure that it sounds as real and as organic as I can. So I just spent a long time really adjusting the sounds. And then obviously there's electronics in there, so I made sure they sounded great, so it was just, yeah, it's sort of it's a compromise, but ultimately, if the musical idea comes across how you want it to come across, you've got to go with it. I mean, I just hope I can get the piece performed live when lockdown is over.